मैं बिंतु वसी वसी Hi, welcome to Being Truth. So today we'll be learning some other concepts of Python and we'll break down some of the concepts of Python such as if conditions, for loop conditions and how functions are created in Python. For that, first let us learn how an input can be taken from the user, where we will be telling the machine to take an input from the user. Okay, so let's recall what we had learned in the yesterday's video. First we learned how to print any statements. Second, we learned how to print math functions, how we can import a math library and use math equations such as like floor, where only the first number of the after the decimal point the numbers will not be printed out. The next we learned the cost functions, how the cost functions can be used with the help of libraries. Next we learned how to declare variables. A is equals to 3, where the A is a container, 3 is a value, and how 3 value can be stored into the container. After that, the declared values or variables, how to add them, we learned that. We also learned how we can store strings into a variable, how can we concatenate two strings by adding them. We also learned strings as statements. We also learned strings as functions. Some of the functions, for example, capitalize, find, upper, lower. Capitalize means the first letter of the sentence will be capitalized. Find means any of the word which will be given here, it will be found from the sentence. Upper means all the words or the whole sentence will be capitalized, not only the first letter, the whole sentence will be capitalized. Lower means the whole sentence will be lowerized, all the alphabets will be in lower cases. Next we learned lists, tuples. Lists are nothing but lists are those which are denoted in square brackets, and those can contain both integers and strings in them. Tuples are similar to lists. They can also contain strings and integers, and tuples are denoted in flower brackets, not in square brackets. As you can see here, these are flower brackets, these are square brackets. The main core difference between lists and tuples is, in list the items or the values can be changed after the call of the variable. Here we have called, after calling it, and we have changed. After calling the variable, we have changed the indexes. It has accepted in lists, but not the case in tuples. Next we learned so next we'll learn how to take inputs from the users, because we'll be learning if conditions, for conditions and functions. For that we need to know how we can take values from the user itself and store them into some of the variables which we call for the video as containers. For example, I am declaring a variable as a is equal to 4. Simply I have put the value 4 into the container a, but I don't want to declare here itself. I want to declare the variable from the user itself. I need to take the number from the user itself. How can I do that? Here comes the entry of the input keyword. How it works? For example, if I want to take the input for the variable a, I can just simply write input for variable a, enter a number for a. Further, what I can do is I can print out a, means whatever value you have entered in the a, it will just show output. Let me just run it. Enter a value for a. Wait, let me zoom it out. See, enter a number for a. If I enter 5, it will print out 5. See, similarly the input statement is used. Let us take another example. Let us consider a is equals to input, enter a number for a, and I'll declare another variable as b and another number for variable b for b. Okay, so we have declared two variables. We have used the keywords input to take the number from the user itself. And what I'll do is print, after taking an input from the user, I'll print those two numbers. So let me run this code once. See, it's saying enter a number. Let me zoom it out. Enter a number 4. I'll enter the number for A as 4. Enter. And for B as 5. See, 45. Why 45, man? Okay, there is an error. You can say that the code didn't just pop up an error, but there is an error. What I have done is I have took two numbers and I have added them. I have not added them as 4 plus 5. I added them 45. 4 5 is 45. I had it like that. Why it become? Because I didn't tell the variables, I didn't tell the computers that I am taking an integer value. They have stored the numbers as a string value, so they are concatenating them. Means they are adding 4 and 5 as 45, not as 9. So what if I declare an int, means integer here? Now if I run this code, the same 4 and 5, see now 9. Why? Because I have told the variables that I am using integers in my code, not strings. So don't concatenate. Beyond that, you need to add the numbers. So it have added the numbers right now. The answer is 9. This kind of error what we got right now, concatenating is nothing but to resolve this. I have used a method known as typecasting. Typecasting is nothing but you are switching the string characters into integer characters by using this int keyword. By default, the letters what we store in variables are stored as string variables. If we want to change them into integers, we just need to use this int keyword. If conditions are nothing but they help us to make decisions in the code. For example, let us take an example. First, let me take a number from the user. Input enter a number, and I'll give the conditions for that. Okay, if num is greater than 0, then print the number is positive. Okay, if num is less than 0, print the number is negative. So I have given a code right now. There is a syntax error here. We need to add some colons. Okay, so I have given the code. First, what I have done, I have taken a number as an input from the user itself and stored it in the variable num. And next, I have checked if whatever the value have been entered by the user is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then the output should be this, the number is positive, and if the entered number is less than 0, then this should be output, the number is negative. So let us once run this code. Let me zoom it out. Number 5, the number is positive. And what if I run it again, and if I minus 2, the number is negative. See, the number is positive and the number is negative. This is the if conditions. Next, there is another concept in if conditions itself, which is known as else or else if. What basically means is, if I have more than 2 conditions. So if I have more than 2 conditions, I can use else if. Else here in its else if and else. See, the point is, if I entered a number between like positive numbers, then it will give me the output as positive, and if I number a negative number, it will give as negative. What if I enter some other things like alphabets or some zero, whatever the other than positive and negative numbers? What should it print? It should give an error. It will give an error. To resolve that error, we give some other conditions, such as the entered value is either 0 or alphabet. If I run this code, see, if I put 0, it will give us the entered value is either 0 or an alphabet. Hence, the if, else if and else conditions are used. Okay, for conditions. For condition. For loop basically helps us to not write the code repeatedly. For example, if I want to type, if I want to print the numbers between 1 to 5, what I need to do is I need to print 1. Similarly, print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4, print 2, print 3, print 4, and print 5. See, it took so long time to print from 1 to 5. To avoid these things, we use for loops. For loops is a very simple thing. For I in range, this is the syntax for loop, I to 6. What should be the thing to be printed? Print I. See, basically what I have done is I have written a keyword as for, I as a variable to be called afterwards. See, here I have called the I in the print statement. In is the another keyword used as syntax. Range means the numbers what we want to print between what to what. See, range between 1 to 6. 1 to 6 means I have to print the numbers from 1 between 6. Let me run this code and show you what the output will be. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was like I took just like 10 seconds to print out these things. Before I took like 30-40 seconds. But like similarly, you may think not much difference, but if I want to print like between 1000 numbers, I can just write 1000 and change. See, 1000 numbers. All the numbers have been printed in just seconds. Like this for loop helps in us a lot in Python. Now let's move on to the next concept, functions. See, if you want to declare first let's understand what is function. Okay, function is nothing but you are creating a library itself. Means you are telling the computer if a word is called somewhere in the code, a particular task should be performed. For example, I am defining is nothing but a keyword denoted as functions. Now let me take a variable named add numbers, and I will pass some parameters into it. For example, a comma b. Now what this a and b should be done, I have right here down. Wait a second. Return a plus b. So simply what I have done is I have defined a variable named add numbers, as I said, and I have passed two parameters as a and b and added them. Return means you are returning the variable back. I'll show what happens in further things. See, what I have done is I have passed two parameters and I have added them. So whenever I want to add two numbers in my code further, I would not be necessarily written as a plus b, print a plus b. First we need to declare or take some of the values from the user itself. We just need to write two numbers and call this function. For example, print add numbers, and if I'll pass two numbers 2, 3. Whenever, see, what I've done is I've printed this, I've just written this, and I have called the and have called the function add numbers and have passed the parameters 2 and 3. Now these 2 and 3 will be stored in A and B. These A and B will be added, then it will receive back to the print statement, and then it will be outputted. Let me run and show this. See 5. Directly I got 5. I have not written here anywhere that I need to add this 2 3. 2 plus 3 I have not written. I have just called this function. Like these functions can be used as a recursive functions, where you need not need to write the code again and again. You just need to declare it once and just call the variable, call the function. The function will perform a specific task what you need in a very short time. Okay, so we understood the basic concepts of Pythons. From the next video, I'll be teaching what is machine learning, how machine learning helps, why we learned Python itself for machine learning. We'll be understanding all those things in the next video. Stay tuned. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video. Peace out.